Good day, this is Sharina, and I have another episode about inks today. And I got these inks from Kakimori, two new inks, and I got this via Outsider's Journey, and this was gifted to me, but I have been wanting to get these for the longest time. I've always been curious, and one of the reasons why I got this is because of it's waterproof and it's pigmented. So pigmented, for those of you that doesn't know it, or are newbies to fountain pen inks, pigmented means it's got particles in it and it's permanent or waterproof, or has a certain kind of waterproofness to it, if that is a word. And yeah, so I tend to veer away from water-based inks. Water-based inks meaning once there's a drop of water, it just dissolves. Well, not dissolve, but just waters down. But you can see here that you can see the smudge there. This is a water-based ink, and there's a smudge there, and this happened after, like way after I have done this swatch. The reason why I go for more pigmented or waterproof inks is because sometimes my hands get slightly sweaty, and when I flip through pages, and when your hand is slightly sweaty, it just sticks to it. So I just hate it. I just prefer like document inks and just pigmented and waterproof ones. So this will tend to be more hard wearing. So if you flip through pages, and if you have if you drink a lot of things and your hands tend to be wet, and that's it. So if you're documenting things and are more if you want it to last longer, I tend to suggest to people to go for a document waterproof inks. So anyway, back to what I'm saying. I got this one from Outsider's Journey, and two new colors. This is brown based, and this is SB183 brown ink. And you can see, I love how their ink is non-traditional looking. So when it sits on the table, you can see it's slightly tilting, and it's great, as you've seen earlier when I was doing this. It's great when you put something in and you just leave it there. It's perfect for that. And I got the other one, which is the green one. This is SB183. Again, pigmented ink. What I did notice when I was swatching this too, and you can see probably from here, this one, the brown one, is a lot drier than the green one. I don't know why, and I'm not going to go technical, but there are just some inks that are, they call it a wet one or a dry one. So this one is a lot drier. So when I used my Kakimori dip pen, this has a brass nib. In case people are curious, this is a dip pen, and this is great for when you're drawing and you want to do some line variations. I don't know if you noticed. So if you want a line variation, you just basically change the angle. So if you want a finer nib, you just, okay, imagine this is my paper. If you want a finer detail, you just basically write as straight as you can. And if you want like a fatter, like a brush stroke, you angle it. So the more you angle it, the more surface it touches, and that means it's got, oh sorry, it's noisy outside. Right, I had to stop, and then finally they've stopped construction outside. So as I was saying, if this is the paper, imagine that's the paper angled this way, yeah. If you use the tip, the finer your handwriting is or your drawing is, but if you angle it, the more surface it touches, and if it touches the surface, the fatter the ink, and the more ink goes out. So yeah, that's the beauty of a Kakimori ink, and this one holds a lot of ink inside, so you can see those grooves. So that's where the ink goes in and out, and inside this one so that's empty. So just imagine inside of that, like a barrel, it's full of ink. So that's the beauty of it. And they have different types. I've got the brass one, they've got a stainless steel one, and they've got one that's a nib. I believe there's glass, and that's very elusive. I've been wanting to get one for ages and I can't seem to find them. But there is also like a calligraphy type nib where it's flat, and that's great for just writing. So yeah, that's my nib swatching. But if you are also curious, I have this is a glass nib. I just used an existing container. This is not the container. I got this one from Tom's Studio, and a good one for this. So this is for writing, and this one you can just dip the end bit, and that's what you do. And the beauty of this one, it's a lot easier to just wipe it and then it's done. This one you do have to wash it. I suggest you do because in the UK they have harder water. Hard water means it's just susceptible to lime scale, and it just be careful because of the grooves, and you don't want that. So a lot of people suggest filter water or bottled water, and you just dip it, and that's what I did here. And it washes quickly, and then you just clean it until it's basically clear. But that's it. It doesn't really take long, very quick. So that's the nib. This is also available at the Outsider's Journey in case you are interested. So yeah, back to my ink. I've just swatched these three. All three I got from Outsider's Journey, all green and brown, because that's my color palette and I just love it. And this one, although this is not waterproof, I got this one because of tea. I love tea, you know that. Or if you don't know that, go through my channel and you'll soon realize I do love tea. And then I got these two because it said brown and green, and they are pigmented inks. Again, as I said earlier, this one is a lot drier and this one is a wetter ink, and you can see that with how thick the writing became. When I was writing both, I was doing tip. I was just doing tip. There is no angle because I wanted it to be as fine as possible. But this drier ink came out a lot more defined, and this wetter ink is so wet, a lot of ink are coming out of the groove. And again, it's just same. The way I wrote was just straight like that, and a lot more came out. But I love how this came out. And I've just introduced this one in my system, and I've always wanted to do this like artsy, fun flowing, no thinking about it type of notebook. I got inspired by Karina. She has a massive following on YouTube and Instagram, but her YouTube account is all about inks, and she's the queen of inks and pens, so you better check her out. I'm going to add it here in this corner where you can find her and her details. So basically I got an inspiration from that, and I've started swatching these two based on what I saw, and I've always inspired how she does things, and it's just so pretty. So just imagine all of this all filled up. But it's a good way to use inks. I do get gifted inks from friends, and I buy some samples if I like the color because I want to swatch things, and this is a good way to use your inks. What I've done, I also got these two Kakimori, these are disposable pens. I don't know what you call this. Let me look back. Okay, so this is the packaging, and I got these two Kakimori pens. As I said, these are disposable pens. So you know how you get gel pens or felt tip pens and you're stuck with the color. This way you use your existing fountain pen inks that you have, and so that one is a 0.5. I specifically got this one an ink brown because I want to use it for sketching, and this one, the other one, brush. That's the brush nib, and I got that one for drawing or details. So that's what I used. The brown one, you can see it's finer, and this one I used my Kakimori brass dip pen. But what's interesting is, and I have noticed this quite a while now, these are the same ink. You can see this is darker and this is lighter. Yes, you can argue that this is thicker, and the way I've angled it, yes, it will be darker. But I did notice that if you use a metal nib, whether it's fountain pen or this brass nib, the color just seems to be more intense, darker. And if you do use a felt tip pen, because I do have a black one of these, the color becomes sort of muted, and I don't know if it's because of the foamish tip there, and it makes it sort of muted. But just as a note, it does change. It does. So this is darker and this is lighter, and you can see it there. Again, I've sampled my Kakimori brush pen, which is brilliant, and you can see the line variation there, and you can see how I've used the tip to my advantage. I wanted a thick one and I wanted a finer one, and that's how it looks. But again, because it's a brush tip, it's more muted than my, what's so better? Is that better? Can you see that? Yeah, it's okay. Here we go. I think that's better. It's more muted than the brass nib sample, which is very, very interesting. So it's more intense with the metal, and it's just more muted when it comes to the brush nib. And again, these are the same color. I haven't done anything except to change the type of medium for sampling, just for you to take note of. So and these are the same, both are MD paper on cream, so technically they should be the same because they are the same paper but different outcome. So yeah, just something very, very interesting for you and for me to know. And that's basically it for today. This comes 3 sizes, I believe. So hold on, this is a 0.5 nib, so that's that. You see it? Yep. And this is the brush nib, and you can see it there, it's thicker. And that's, hold on, I don't want to mess my okay, hold on. And that's bendy, again like a brush bends. So those are the 2 colors that I got. They do have a 0.3 or 0.38 nib, which is a finer nib for details, but that's for next time. I will get that next time for maybe a black or another color. Yeah, these are my latest stash, and that's sort of a review, I guess. Since I don't really know about fountain pen, not fountain pen inks, I can't really review much because I would just sound like a babbling idiot. So that's it. That's what I got, and just showing you my observation. And if you do know why it changes in terms of how bright or dull the color is when it's changing nibs or mediums, please do let me know. I'm sure it has some scientific explanation, but if you do know, comments. I would love to learn. And that's it for today. That's my Kakimori inks and new pens. Got it from Outsider's Journey. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find that fascinating or interesting, or I hope you learned something. Well, I certainly learned something about the metal nib and the brush nib. And that's it. Have a good day, and thanks for watching. Bye.